Hello everybody, and welcome to Toonkind at 12 FPS. Title of today's episode, On the Rocks. My name is Fable, and I'll be playing Antler. And with me today is the wonderful, the talented, my friend.
It's me, it's Yudi. You didn't see that coming. And I am playing Zan Adieu.
Zan the Magic Man.
It's him. That's the boy.
It's the boy, it's the man. A good man. Quality man. Smart man. A
He
man who,
tries.
to be honest, I don't know what he's doing to I don't know what he's doing during his time at Ruindal when not hanging around other people.
Probably doing more research on his own stuff.
Fair enough. An Antler has a library he would have let Zan use.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Zan probably ends up spending a lot of time there. And if he's there at the same time as Antler, well, give each other polite nods, I guess.
Yeah. Usually, I would
Usually.
say it's one of those days where, all right, it's probably one of those days where you're in the library doing your studying, and an Antler walks in again, but he doesn't nod to you. Actually, he has not noticed you. He's doing other things. He's looking around the room as if looking for something, but does not notice you. Uh, he has his staff in hand, and he's been going. He You watch him go up to some of the walls and tap them with his staff, with an ear up to them. It's just like, no, tap tap, no, tap tap, not here. And he does this to several of the walls before sighing, and then unless you say something, he's gonna walk out the room, and you'll still hear more tap tapping along the walls.
Zan like watches him do this a couple times and finally goes, "Do you do you not know your own secret passageways?"
I know my secret passageways. Hello, by the way. I know mine, and I know where those are. I'm just checking to see if there's any that have been overlooked. Tap, tap,
See.
tap, tap. Hmm.
Um, is there something that brought this on? Or is this just general curiosity?
Hmm. Three things that I can list off. One, Mr. Lightly note. Mr. Lightly made note of a secret passage somewhere, though he failed to mention where. Uh, there is another reason, but that is you cannot tell Miss Sheka that it is slightly mayor related. The third reason is that I'm bored.
It's and like I can't help but snicker a little at that last one.
I am. Then, Mr. Do, you must realize I am not a tune that can just relax. I need something to do. And this vacation has been an absolute nightmare.
Zan goes, really? Well, I suppose you would know something about nightmares.
Oh, I would know better than anyone. Thank you for noting.
Well, and Zan places a bookmark in his in what he was reading at the time, and goes, "Well, if you're being driven quite so mad, I may as well help you with this task. It's good for one to know their home."
Hmm. Well, I suppose I won't be one to say no to an extra pair of eyes, though you seemed rather. And he looks at all the books that are, I assume, are out on the table. You seem to have been busy with something else. I would not wish to interrupt that.
He sort of looks at the pile around him And you can tell by looking, there's sort of an expression on his face of like, this is the first time he's actually paid attention to how high the stacks have gotten.
Oh my
He
god.
goes, well, um, I, uh, I could use the opportunity to, stretch my legs, as it were.
Hmm. Antler has takes another second to look at all the books. I suppose I'm not the only one who doesn't enjoy not having something to do.
We all have our ways of keeping busy.
Hmm. Well, if you... I'm not finding anything here, obviously.
Mm.
And more obviously, would have found something while this was being renovated, but best to double check and all that.
You could never be too sure.
Hmm.
Well, you know this place much better than me, but I will do what I can.
Hmm. Thank you. And this is the part where we roll investigation.
Yeah.
Watch as they both beef this roll. And they're both just lost in the castle for the day. Oh no.
Great.
It's a 9. That's a 9 from you. Where's my investigation? It's +5. Okay. It's a 10.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. Oh no. I jinxed it. I'm sorry. What have I done?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so it's basically just Antler and Zan walking around the castle of Ruindal, checking different rooms and walls that might have, I guess, trapdoors in them. Uh, Antler goes to the trapdoors that are his that he had set up. And most of those are just like emergency exit sort of things. Hi, cat. My cat has joined us.
Kitty. Give kitty kiss.
Mwah.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good hour or so in, and neither of them have found anything.
Zan has something he could do, but I don't know if he would at this point. So he'll keep it in his back pocket.
Alright. Might be going about this all wrong. What do you think?
Well, this place is quite old, and what I understand, you lived here for a considerable portion of it. I don't know that. Well,
I've lived here for about a year now, and this place has been. I reckon this is possibly one of the first places built since after the last erasure.
Zan gives a look over the walls and he murmurs, it's actually more recent than I anticipated, but, well, he glances at Antler and he goes, how concerned are you that this is the case? That there is something hidden?
I know of one thing hidden here, but that is more or less accounted for at the moment. What I'm worried about is if it's not here, it's best I show you. Come with me. And Antler will lead Zan to his study. And on the table that in his study he has a few papers left out and about, and there is a map. There's a map of Little Corner that has been spread out, and it has a whole bunch of red X's marked on it. And this was left from a Lady Mazzy, the woman who tried to take over Little Corner a while ago. She was looking for something, but I'm not sure what.
Then we'll study it. Mazzy.
Yes, from what
What?
I know of her, a noble from Happiest Place. Forged documents with a fake royal seal, in order to procure a small army for herself and take over the town, as it were.
I see. Well, it's strange for her to come all the way out here just for a small town if she has that much pull. I see the point of your concern.
It is Little Corner is a well-known trading route for most ships. So I could see a reason for her to take over to make something of a profit, but that is not, from what little time I had to talk to her, it didn't seem to be her interest. And Antler starts he's trailed off for a moment. He just seems to be thinking. There are other papers on the table next to the map. Some are letters, some are notes.
I think maybe I should do a little investigation check, a fresh one for looking through these, maybe. 14.
Yeah, you start. There's a good amount. A lot of them seem to be lists to correspond with the map. Just little notes taken. Some are in a very nice cursive. None of it Antler's handwriting, that you can tell. It's someone else's, probably this Lady Mazzy's. But there is one that is it's still in Lady Mazzy's, but it's a letter, and there's a name that catches your eye. And it says,
and it
No, what were you saying?
and it says
it says, Dear Lady Conba, as much as I enjoy your little parties, I'm afraid I'm a little busy with my own party. Perhaps next year I'll be able to see what you come up with, and then you can see what I have. Until then, all love, Lady Mazzy.
Yeah, Zen is definitely gone quite still as he has caught sight of this.
This is where I roll insight.
It sure is.
15.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Zen has had a reaction to this particular piece of paper, this note.
I think Antler catches it more at a glance as he's looking at other papers.
Hmm.
But then he does a double take when he sees Zan's expression, and he goes, "Did you find something?"
Um, well, I don't know if it's helpful for you, but yes, I did. Um,
Antler will hold out his hand for the paper.
then he hesitates for a second before handing it over, and he says, "Yeah, the person it's addressed to, I
Lady Conba?
yes,
Hmm.
I
I'm afraid I don't know that name.
I'm afraid I do. Um, it's quite certain that if they were on pleasant terms, I doubt anything good can come of her investigation. Um,
How how concerned should I be?
Zan is like he's trying hard to figure out how much is his own anxiety and how much is like actually reasonable to warn about.
Hmm. I think. Hmm.
people people in her line of work, they never are just doing one thing. Likely, if there's something here that she was interested in, there's there's something larger and much more concerning connected. So if we can figure that out, it would be good to nip that in the bud.
Hmm. Hmm. All right then.
I I confess I was largely helping just to spend some time doing something else, but I think I can hopefully I'm trying to think of the word me myself, not Zan.
Hmm.
I can expedite this process a tad. Um and Zan's eyes like start to glow faintly.
Oh, is
And
what's he doing?
he's casting True Seeing.
Oh, could would you be so kind as to explain that to both for me and the audience, please?
So this spell gives the person who is affected by it the ability to see things as they truly are. So through any illusion, through any sort of like magical effects, and including any secret doors that are hidden through magic and anything in the ethereal plane. Um,
Okay. Okay. Let me hold on. I'm gonna actually look at the. I know you just explained it, but I also just want to check a few other things about it. Is it true seeing or true sight? Oh, it's the same thing.
yeah, it's the same.
All out to a range of 120 feet. Okay. Uh,
Yeah, obviously it won't let him like magically see like instantly know where a thing is, but it'll make it a hell of a lot easier as they move around.
Yeah. I'm just debating because as for anyone who has listened to Ruined All knows, there is in fact a giant ass portal in the basement, and I'm part of me is trying to deduce how far that is, or if Zan is. I would think he'd be able to see a portal under their feet.
And like his eyes glow and he like does a double take looking downwards. He goes, um is that portal in the basement, is that accounted for, or should we be investigating that?
That's that was there when we got here. I'm having the doc. I was having the doctor examine it for the time being. I'm trying to. They've been trying to understand what's been keeping it open.
Ah, and you're quite certain that's not what she was looking for?
It might. If it is, I think I would like to find what's keeping it open.
Ah,
I've had a few looks on the other side, and while there wasn't unimaginable danger there, I would rather not. I would rather not risk it. If that's understandable.
well, that is at least a starting point. If you think it is a concerning matter, it having an open portal in your home is never the most secure situation to have.
Indeed. Though the doctor's been enjoying the pigment coming out of it. Anyways, I think whatever we need to find, at least, is on this side. The people who, the people who originally made it came from this side of it. So I think what is ever powering it would likely be on this side as well.
Oh, very well. And then again, he starts casting his look around because,
Yeah,
again, it won't necessarily instantly hone in on something, but if something is hidden,
yeah.
he'll be the one to find it.
Well, you do see one thing, since this is Antler's study. If you're still in Antler's study, you do see by the bookshelf. You're able to see that there is in fact a trap door over there by the bookshelf.
uh, he will sort of piece over to it and go, "What about this one?"
Uh, uh, yes, you would see that. No, that is not it either.
Well, how about you take me on a tour through all the ones you do know, and I'll see if any other surprises pop up.
Antler just nods. Uh, right then, should this way. And he's just gonna lead you away from the bookshelf. Doesn't matter what's behind it. Don't worry about it.
Uh-huh.
He can have his some secrets. Okay, he has so few left.
That's where he keeps his dirty mags or whatever.
I for the audience at home and for you, Uni. This isn't some spoiler thing. He just hides other books in there that he doesn't want that he doesn't want a certain young witch to get at.
Uh-huh.
I say books, they're spell books, okay? They're more spell books. And maybe a few cursed ones from his time that are very, very not good if they're opened. So yeah, more reason to not let Ruby find them. Don't worry about it. Uh, anyways, I'm not gonna make you roll investigation because it's supposed to be fun FPS. He
Yeah.
who's. I'm
And with true seeing on, like,
yeah.
yeah,
There's no
it's just a
there's
matter of time.
yeah. It's just a matter of time, which I'm not gonna. And eventually, you actually do find you do in fact find a secret door as you go back through the court, go back into the inner courtyard. Uh,
Nice.
there is one. There's a way that goes towards the underground river. One that goes back towards the front, towards the entrance to the dock slab, and then you've got another hallway that goes further back. That leads to basically a big ballroom that is still getting fixed up because it was big. Uh, but it's not in there. It's actually in the hallway leading to it that you actually find a secret door. A little secret door.
Um, at this point, like, then Zan, he's sort of been like, oh man, this guy is so blasé about all the secret passages. He's found all of them. So, just like, and this one?
Hmm? Oh. No, that one's new.
Oh, good. I was starting to fear I uh was sort of wasting your time here. All right. Well then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well then, into the unknown.
suppose so. Um, I don't know. It's like, uh-oh, two wizardly dudes. No one knows how to check for traps here.
This
I
is
mean, true seeing would help with that, but still.
Did you see? How long does it last?
I think an hour.
Like an hour? Okay.
Yeah, 1 hour.
Okay. Does it help with traps? Helps with secret doors. I would think traps as well.
It sees things as they actually are. So anything that's like hidden away or mysterious, blah blah woof woof.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
also like the ethereal plane. So if you think there's any cool like ethereal effects that would be connected to your character in the ethereal plane, you can describe that because it's neat.
I would think for any match. Oh man, I would think if he looks at Antler, I would think Antler looks more or less the same, but except his eyes have a blue ring of magic around them, and you can actually see blue electric antlers coming
Nice.
off him from where his where his actual antlers used to be. Which, by the way, those are starting to grow back. They do grow back quick, and you can see little
Little
stumps,
nubbies.
little nubbies, little soft velvety nubbins.
Mhm.
But also,
Unfortunately, they do not yet know each other well enough to for him to ask to
yeah,
uh,
one day. Hey, maybe when they're
one
fully
day.
grown back, who knows? But I'm gonna say probably for the because the secret passage leads out to what is essentially just a hallway, and Zan, with the true sight on, you're able to see the first couple of traps. They're arguably not well hidden, anyways, because it's well, it's Toons. It's a it's a castle made by Toons, and there's already that sort of effect where the difference between God, what is basically a background painting and what is animation cell.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially that. So I imagine they get by the first couple things just fine,
Mm-hmm.
but eventually we should make a deck safe.
Oh, good.
We should, because otherwise we're just walking. We need fun. We need some
Gotta
fun.
keep it fun.
What is my deck say?
Like maybe between them searching and finding and starting down the way, like his true sight can't last forever.
Yeah. Plus, he might just not. Zan might also just be not looking at it. Might be looking at something else. Also, my deck save is just a straight D20, so
Nice.
it's a 15.
Yeah, that's a good roll, but Zan's is better.
Yeah. What kind? I don't know. Do you want to say what kind of trap this is, or I have like traps in my head, but I was not.
um,
Do
I'll say there's I don't know. All of my ideas are the very generic sort.
I mean, same, same. How about Pitfall? Because that's what's on the title card.
Fair enough.
Pitfall with spikes, because those are always fun.
That's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
As yeah, as Zan, I, well, I might imagine he's sort of like I imagine Antler has sort of taken the lead a little bit because he's like, this is his home. He's the one exploring it and wants to learn about it, and um
Yeah, yeah,
etc.
yeah, yeah.
And there's he takes uh, a step forward, and suddenly the ground is just gone. Um,
Can there be a
and
Toonish moment of that happening, but
yeah,
Antler's still standing in the air before looking down and just going, ah, hmm.
and there's an instant where like he's going to like do the proper wily coyote thing
Yeah,
of falling in the pit.
yeah.
Um,
Like he's starting to go down.
except with Zan's 19 deck save,
Yeah.
he just sort of like leaps into action and like uh does a freaking like Tarzan dive across, like just
Tarzan died?
what like he has a rope grappling hook dealy where he just like swoop whoop and uh,
He has that?
yeah, it's like basic adventuring gear.
Oh. Sorry, I'm just imagine. Sorry, I'm just. Ignore me, ignore me. The image of my head is just a bit silly, but I'm not gonna.
I mean, it is probably a bit silly because again, it is in the middle of a wily coyote plummet.
Yeah.
Where, like the fact that he was able to get out his grappling hook and uh, lodge it and dive across to catch you
Yeah.
is
It's very
only because of the tootiness
Yeah.
of your structure.
It's the very like he had the time to do it just because Antler had that wily coyote pause.
Yes, exactly.
Pause, react, start to fall.
Um,
But you make it to the other side with holding onto the rope in one hand, and then in the other is
yeah,
is
he's got Antler scooped up in his free arm.
yeah, and reactionary has his arms uh has his arms around Sand's shoulders.
And Zan gives him like a small smile and says, oh, I thought living with Ruby would keep you more on your toes.
One would one would think. Actually, it's kind of just like blinking a little. Excuse the pun, but a little deer in the headlights expression. He's staring at Zan and then staring back at the pitfall trap. That was very good reaction time from you. I'm a bit impressed.
Well, you gave me some leeway there. Um,
Antler then looks at the turns his attention to the current uh to the fact that he's currently being held up by you.
um, ah, right. And puts him down and goes, um, like, you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. He says as he lets go and smooths out his clothes and gives another glance back at the pitfall trap. It's been a while since I've had one of those.
Well, can either cement it over or, well, make it your own, I suppose.
No. There's enough. There are enough traps in Ruined all thanks to Ruby. I think cementing this one would be preferable. Perhaps it would be better if you took the lead. If your true sight is still active.
Very well.
And onward they unless I think Antler's gonna Do you want to roll insight?
Yeah. This is plus on that. Okay.
'19. Antler's still a bit it still has a bit of the deer in the headlights expression. It's taking him a few seconds. It's taking him a few moments longer to fully shake his head out of that. But yeah, he's gonna let Zan take the lead.
Zan, it's very interesting seeing that expression on Antler. It feels very alien. Um, but
Yeah, it probably looks very alien.
yeah, the man is not put forth an terribly vulnerable or easy to surprise air.
Not yeah. But he's not gonna Antler's not gonna wanna say anything about it at that current time. Just onward they go. I think the hallway eventually turns into a enclosed spiral staircase that leads downward.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we will make another deck save.
Yeah.
Because I just like deck saves.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nat one.
Oh no. It's an 11. As 11. Antler has Zan, you have taken the lead this time going up the stairs and I'm trying to think of a reason why Zan wouldn't see this coming. Oh, I know why, because it's coming from behind them. Zan, you would hear a probably a click and a shoomp and then the sound of something rolling before suddenly Antler is pushing Zan against the wall. And it's just like don't move. And then you just hear the whoosh as a boulder comes down the stairwell and just barely misses the two of them.
Oh man.
Oh, apologies.
Thank you. Goodness.
Are you and now it's another one of those. It's definitely one of those where Antler's face is very close to Zan's because he basically had to squish both of them against the wall to not get to not get crushed.
Right, right.
But now they are both very close, faces very close, and there's once again that bit of not so much deer in headlights, but definitely more wide-eyed expression.
Mm. Then, like, he's definitely startled, and he blinks at Antler for a moment before, uh, thank you. I'm sorry. I suppose maybe not as good in the lead as I might have thought.
Oh no, it's fine. I can't. It, it's fine. Antler would say as he takes a step back, smooths his clothes out again a bit more.
Mm, then he also uh sort of straightens up and uh smiles awkwardly and goes, "Well, at least I've you know, got you to watch my rear."
Mm, yeah. Mm. Antler just nods. And I think actually I'm gonna roll Hammer Space. He arguably should have done this at the beginning, but he will pull out his staff from. He'll pull out his staff from his hammer space. Give it a tap against the ground, and three dancing lights will come out of it and basically fly both around his head and around Zan's. One of them stays flying by Zan's head for a moment. Oh, Zan, you get the impression that it might be looking at you, but that seems weird because it's dancing lights. It's not anything else. But
Right.
it gives like a little chime of a bell before going back to join the other two. And Antler just waves his hand at them, and they just freely go ahead of the two old men down the stairway. Right then, shall we?
Shall.
Hmm. Well,
Um
while we are while we are walking, I am curious. How many of these sorts of ventures have you done before?
oh, oh, what do you mean by these sorts?
Hmm. Adventures, if you will. These sorts of adventures, finding things, traps, that and the like.
Oh, um it's I haven't been on the venturing scene in many years. Did quite a bit when I was younger, but well,
Oh,
I was well, worrying things would pop up and someone needed to be sent to check them out. I was uh mm, a wand for hire in a way.
really?
It was a long time ago.
Hmm. You don't strike me as a man whose magical services can be bought.
Oh no, it was well, it was sort of government sanctioned sort of thing.
Ah, that makes a bit more sense, I suppose.
Mm.
Though,
What
no, no, you go on.
what about you? It seems you've likely done a number of expeditions since moving in.
Hmm.
Is something you
Not,
he sort of hesitates about how to phrase the next part of the question, and I don't know if Antler would just answer that first half.
I've not been on as many of these as I think I would like. Certainly a number in the past when looking for more things to give to to aid in my what was it really was just a conquest at this point. But anything to give me more power and the like, yes. Much search much searching of that and the like.
Well, we've we both had busy lives.
Indeed. oh, I just had a thought. I imagine were our timelines a bit closer together, I imagine you would have been one of the people sent to deal with me.
Oh, are you only now just thinking of that?
Oh no, I thought of it before, but now I'm thinking about it with a bit more amusement.
Yes, I've wondered if I had met you in my younger days. Well, I doubt we would have been compatriots for very long.
No, likely not. I imagine we would have quite hated each other. You a government man, and me looking to make my own government. Hmm.
Yes. But here we are.
Here we are. Could fairly be worse.
Yes. Yes, I think it could.
Hmm. At this point, they've left the stairwell and have entered what is it's another hallway. There's a lot of hallways.
A lot of
A
hallways.
lot of
It's hard
hallways.
to it's hard to describe a cool dungeon in an auditory form.
Yeah, it's hard to describe cool dungeons, but also I wanted this to still mostly be old men, old men getting along.
Yeah, exploring and such.
Yeah. Do we want to make another deck save?
Yeah.
Cause I like deck saves. They're fun.
They are.
That's Nate.
11.
11.
um,
What about an arrow
there's
trap?
I think it's something where it's like it's that thing where they like enter a sort of like chamber, and as soon as they step in, like door slams shut and the walls start closing in. Oh no. um but
I think Antler's reaction to this is, I've not seen one of these in some time.
um yeah, and Zane goes, "Oh, it's a classic." um he goes, "Well, no worries." And he takes Antler's hand, uh flicks out his wand, his regular wand, not the special wand.
Yeah.
um and uh pulls Antler over and through the like far closed like stone door that slammed shut, and it's just like welded to stone, just like goodbye. We're not dealing with that. It's just like, come with me through
Ah.
this mystical magical wall.
Yeah, you pull Antler through just as you hear on the other side the choom of the walls coming of the two walls coming together.
And Zan goes, I know we've been getting closer, but that seems a bit too close.
Indeed. It's going to be rather fun trying to get back that way.
Oh, we'll figure something out.
Hmm.
Or who knows, maybe we'll find another secret passage into your chambers on the other end.
Perhaps, but does this... Hmm. This is obviously leading somewhere, but does this seem a bit easy to you?
Zan does sort of pause and goes, Yes, yes, it is a bit surprising how smoothly it's gone, all things considered.
Makes me wonder if what did they think was actually going to come this way? Well, I suppose standing here and wondering won't answer that, will it?
Mm. No, no. May as well find some more traps for us to walk into.
Hmm. Goldcoin says you'll be the one walking into it next.
Oh, fine. I'll take you up on it.
Want to do another tech save? Also, have they? Also, has Zan noticed that they're still holding hands?
uh, Probably not unless Antler like draws attention to it. It's just like, eh.
Antler hasn't noticed it either. I don't want him to. It's a 15.
Yeah.
I think the. Oh man, I think the. Hmm. I'm trying to think of what the next one should be. We've been doing a lot of classic dungeon traps.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm thinking this one. Actually, you know, let's do the arrow trap because I haven't done the arrow trap in a while. And arrow traps are just kind of fun.
They are.
I think it's one of those where they've been walking side by side and it's been quiet for a few moments, and it's one of those where Antler just notices that they've been holding hands and he's about to bring it up until he hears his ears flicker and he hears a click, and he quit and quickly just like on instinct pulls Zan back towards him. And just as he does, you just hear a whoosh, thunk, 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 and there's now a barrage of arrows just now sunk into the wall.
Zan, he, stares at the arrows on the wall, and glances back to Antler, and then goes, and pulls out a gold coin.
Antler does Antler does just takes it, just goes, "Oh, why, thank you, Mr. Adieu. How generous."
And Zan, like, he rolls his eyes, but again, from what Antler's seen, maybe not rolling his eyes at Antler specifically.
Antler just pockets the gold coin. And any other bets you'd like to make while we're down here?
And he goes, you know what? I am starting to wonder if the gambling spirit is really the wisest thing to indulge in down here.
Something. It's better to think on that then. Oh, I don't know. I best I not say it, actually. I'm aware there's been a Jinx fairy about. And I'd rather not. Oh, and there's no wood down here. No. Best not to jinx. No. Best not to jinx it, actually.
Oh God, it's dorks.
They're absolute dorks. I think I think eventually they'll start to see. The dancing lights, by the way, have still been, for the most part, they've still been kind of just dancing around both Zan and Antler's heads. Still occasionally making little bell noises,
Jingle
and
jangle.
yeah, little jingle jangle, and just with how they move. And this is a flavor thing I've said about Antler's dancing lights before, is that the way they move about would make one think that they almost have a little mind of their own, almost as if they're just like little fairies dancing around their heads.
Adorable.
Because I flavored these to be like the bauble from Black Cauldron, and that seemed to be, it was magic, but it had a little mind of its own. You would see one of the dancing lights go, because there's definitely some animal rats down here, because dungeons always need animal rats,
Of course.
and you would see one of them go after a rat, and the other two would follow along before Antler has to clear his throat before they all three of them freeze and kind of just slowly float back to him to keep the corridor lit.
Zane is like he's watching this with like Antler make an insight check.
Oh, okay. What's my insight? Where are you, insight? +5. I always forget it. 21.
Nice. You can tell that like Zan is this might be an uncomfortable thing for you to realize, Antler. Zan thinks that you with these lights is adorable.
Oh my god. I think Antler, his ears actually, like, go down a little bit, and he just go, what?
I had gotten a bit used to seeing you interacting with Ruby and Umi and the rest, but it's well for your own magic to act like that.
You
It's an
see
interesting manifestation.
you see that toonish shared look between Antler and the dancing lights before they just like lift up for a second, a sort of shrug before Antler looks back at Zen. It's just, they've always been like this, I suppose.
Oh, then I suppose there's always been a bit of that playfulness in you.
Playfulness. Do not be absurd. I am not playful. he actually
Mm.
he actually looks forward and does that bit of upturned nose a little bit. But roll an insight. But roll an insight if you want.
Oh man.
20. That's a nat 20.
20.
Oh man, Antler's putting on a good snooty kind of face of like, I don't play, but he is absolutely giving you shit.
And his hand goes, ah, yes. God forbid.
Goodness, can you imagine me being able to play? Ugh. By then, pigs would start flying. And if I swear, if I start seeing Oliver flying around the castle, I truly will have lost it.
Oh, I'll make sure Ruby doesn't catch on.
Oh, she will.
Um, Zed is just like he's just sort of smiling to himself. It's just like both of them rolled pretty good insights on each other, and it's just like, yeah, he is seeing a very different side of you, and it is weird and it is charming, and also he is feeling a little bit uh there's like you God, how to describe it. He's amused by seeing this like more playful, more open side, and then there's also just a hint of hesitation about him in a way that's hard to define.
Hmm. I think with Antler's own good insight, it's he is aware that he is being perceived,
Mm-hmm.
and yet is possibly not as bothered by it as he would be with most people. And maybe that's just because from as much as Antler has been as straightforward as he is, Zan himself has very much, while yes, having his own secrets and things he doesn't want to share with people, has also been more or less a fairly straightforward man himself in many respects. And so I guess it in that sense it yeah, it doesn't bother him as much, which he's realizing it's not bothering him as much, which leads him to start thinking about something. If hmm, this may be an odd question, you're more than welcome to say no to it, but fortunately, time spent with Mr. Lightly has. Hell, it has put the thought in my head, and I'd rather get it out than have it stuck in there, I suppose. Ah,
And it's just sort of like raised an eyebrow.
well, to be. Hmm, hmm, I do hold. I do hold respect for you, Mr. Adieu. You are a you are a very clever you are a clever man and obviously a talented wizard.
Thank you. Dan has this look on his face of just like, uh, what's he getting at? Where's this going?
And hmm, against all against all reason, you have been tolerable of me at what was arguably my worst. Or hmm, no, yes, I actually was quite terrible to you when we first met.
Satan doesn't say anything.
Hmm. Your silence speaks so much.
Well,
Well, I sup- I suppose what I am meaning to ask with how much you are, with my respect of you and your tolerance of me, I am daring to ask, are. Mm, oh dear, I do not know how to ask this. Hmm.
at this point, like, I imagine they had been, continuing to walk through uh, the dungeon together, and at this point, Zan has very much stopped because it's like, the heck is he getting at? This feels like an important thing, but he has no idea where this is going.
Yeah, Antler's kind of stuck there for a moment because you see his ears have been like twitching, uh, like one ear is up, one ear is down, and then they swap places as Antler is trying to, as you've probably gathered, is Antler's is what they do when Antler's like thinking and trying to put together his words, but he's genuinely having a moment of like, hmm. And I think at this point he actually looks down and finally notices again that their hands are still holding on to each other.
Oh, God.
And it's just like, and it's just, have I been holding your hand this whole time?
And blinks down. Oh, um, I, I'm sorry. He lets go.
No, no, it's fine. It just, mm. If I told you why I don't, mm. If I told you the reason I do not shake hands with people,
Uh, I don't believe so.
mm. It is not. It should not be very surprising that I've had many enemies in the past, and oftentimes one hand goes to shake while the other hand is holding a dagger behind their back. That is to say, and he actually doesn't say anything on that. He kind of just looks at his hands and looks at Zan's hand, and the fact that he was just holding your hand for a some odd amount of time.
Um, and then sort of gnaws at his lip and glances away and goes, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Well,
That is the
I suppose I
strange.
wasn't really thinking.
No, that is the strange thing is that you did anything but. Which would it be? Hmm, would it be acceptable, I suppose appropriate, to refer to you as a as a as a oh no, give me a moment. I can say it. I can say it. As a friend. God. Hell.
It's just like he's just kind of staring like part of part of him is amused by the struggle, but also just like really kind of amazed in a way. Um, Goodness. Sort of like he takes a step back and looks very like he looks rather closely at Antler, just sort of like studying him, and goes, I I didn't think you did friends.
To be quite honest with you, neither did I. But then again, I wasn't one that thought I could ever care about people, and yet. And he actually looks upward, back towards the surface, back where Ruby, Umi, Duster, where the others are, somewhere in the castle. And while I still am not sure about who I am coming to be, I suppose it is perhaps better late than never to learn if I am someone who does friends. Mm, sounds so alien to say.
Well, um, I I confess there is I have great respect for you as well. I think you are very very talented, very intelligent and very capable individual. And I think you are going to become someone very very interesting.
Antler cocks an eyebrow at that. Hmm.
I I have I have put my faith in the wrong people before.
Antler nods, kind of sensing where this is going.
I well, I have been trying very hard to remind myself of those mistakes when interacting with you. But I can't help it. I very much want to see what type of person you do end up becoming. So, yes, if you're interested in trying it out, um, I would like to. I would like to help you learn about having friends.
You want to roll insight at advantage?
It's not good.
At advantage. Yeah,
It's
17's
better.
much better. Uh, once again, he has that. Antler has that. His face has actually gone on the most emotional journey you have ever seen it, and that's saying something for this guy. Uh, and all of its subtle emotions. His ear. There have been parts of what you were talking where his ears are up. Then there are other parts where his ears are down, and but at the end, they're back to being up again, in that sort of surprised deer in the headlights expression, but now with a bit of marvel, honestly. And much as you have much as you have looked at him as I think extraordinary was the word that you used
Mm.
at some point. It's same with Antler, as he's just looking at you. He just goes, "You are by far one of the most interesting men I have come to know."
Well, you haven't met that many people.
Well, not in this time. I've met
Mm.
some.
Well, we'll work on it.
Hmm. Oddly enough, I think I look forward to it. And I think, without a word, I think he just gestures for onward.
Yeah.
And I,
Go ahead.
I don't know, what were you gonna say?
I nothing. It's nothing important. Go ahead.
Ah. Uh, I'm thinking maybe there's one or two more traps that Zan catches with the last bits of his true sight. And by the time the true sight starts to fade away, I think the two of them actually start to see a faint glow, a faint mm, gonna say a sort of pale reddish glow, not very pink, but definitely more reddish, maybe orange. I don't know. It's a glow. It's a glow up ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely of the magical sort.
Uh, you don't need true sight to see that sort of magical effect. I imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think as he does, Antler's dancing lights have seen the light, and you actually see them kind of tingle, 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 tingle before they all spin in a circle around Antler's head, and then go into his cape and basically dispel from under there.
adorable.
Yeah, I like
Um,
describing his dancing lights.
it's such a cute detail on someone who's so grumpy, and I love it.
It's like
Um,
it's the spell that it's the first spell he ever learned, so it's the spell that's really manifested into something, a part of him.
oh,
It's that little bit of
my
him that
heart.
kept the childlike wonder in a way.
Eh.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and as they get closer, I imagine, Zan, he's moving a little more slowly. They're running to enough traps where it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe a big glowing light should be approached with caution.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But as this is a Toonkind castle, this is one of those moments where there usually is no more traps because this is the scene where people enter the big room and there is something
Mm,
big there. So obviously you can't have any more traps, so you can let the audience experience the big.
indeed.
Yeah. And that big thing is basically a giant floating red crystal in the middle of a big stone room. And if you look above it, is the big giant portal in the basement.
There it goes. Oh,
Hmm.
oh, think that might be related.
I would think so. This is the part where I roll gonna roll investigation on this one, and you're welcome to do the same in case I absolutely beef it. That's a 24. I did not beef it. Okay, good.
I will roll just in case.
Yeah. That's also D10 on hammer space. Okay. 14. Okay, I'll go with you first. Because that's enough to make it. Because this, it's a big floating giant crystal in the middle of the room, and
Uh-huh.
sparks of magical electricity have been coming off it and arcing into the portal, or the edges of it at least, where you see that uh, enough said that this is what's been powering it this entire time.
Yeah.
But as you look closely at it, you can actually see that there are cracks uh, and chunks that are out of it, uh, and as you are looking at that, Antler has actually reached into his hammer space and has pulled out uh, two familiar uh, red crystals, which you recognize as which you recognize back from all the way back from to Potions Notions, where Antler had given
Yeah.
you a magical red crystal to help in the potion making. And
Yes.
Antler,
Yes.
yeah, and Antler takes one of them up and holds them up to compare, and it's just, hmm. Well, I suppose that's where these came from. I would think. Would you agree?
Um, then he takes a moment just to like do his own comparison of them and nods. I had always wondered where you'd gotten that from.
I'd gotten it from a crown on a dog.
Hmm. Uh, hmm. There's that moment of Zen just being like, "What? Oh, you know what? These shenanigans. I'm not gonna bother."
Yes, it's. I'll tell you about it later. Hmm.
You do.
This is where I make a. Actually, no, it's a strength check, but it's still a d20. 19. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you see as he's holding it up, you actually see Zan, you watch as actually the crystal shakes in his between his fingers for a minute and and starts to slip out of his hand towards the giant crystal, but Antler is quick enough to like grab it and just be like, ah, right, nope, putting those back. I do not want to know what that will do if it goes back to it. And he quickly puts those back into his hammer space. So we do not need to make another deck save, so that's good.
Then he looks at it again and goes, "So, this is your basement. What do you think? Destroy or disable?"
Hmm. How to go about either of them, I'd say, is the better question.
Well,
Even bigger question is what effect it would have on the surrounding area. The portal was here when I got here, which means it's been here for a long time.
certainly true. Huh.
One could.
Well,
Hmm. I am thinking, do I
mm,
need a giant magical power crystal? These things often can be rather unpredictable on how they're used. He seems to be doing a thinky think of whether he needs this or not. Then again,
then
I,
uh he's sort of like circling the area around it, just observing.
yeah, yeah. There's a certain feat you can get within it before you can feel the magical pulse that's coming from it,
Mm-hmm.
and and it's one of those things where it doesn't necessarily have a barrier around it, but those magical electric arcs that are coming off it. You imagine if you get too close, one of those could very possibly arc off and hit you. So, you know, distance is good. You're a smart
Fair
wizard.
enough.
You're a smart wizard.
Yeah, yeah.
And Antler's still where he is thinking, oh, but then again, if this Conba is as worrying as you seem to imply she is, and if she knows Lady Mazzy, and if Lady Mazzy was looking for this, there's a possible chance someone else might come for it.
And says, "Ugh, we have a spell that could hide it, but can't get close enough to use it."
Hmm. I wonder something this something this big, something that's caught, and something that still has enough power to been keeping this up for so many years, and gestures up again towards the big giant portal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think. I doubted the spell magic could even work.
Unlikely. Could sequester it, but it's just two magic nerds trying to think about how to magic their problem
Yeah.
with this magic.
Hmm. I could have I could have the doctor look at it and see if he could find a scientific solution.
I'm sure he would enjoy the opportunity to study it.
Certainly would. Not sure he would enjoy as much. Either way, I think whatever we decide to do with the crystal, either way, I think it is high time that portal gets closed. We've been very lucky that the only thing coming out has been zombies.
Is it just like, uh, yeah, 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 just zombies.
And Antler's just being so nonplussed about it, too. It doesn't help. Uh, well, it's not as if the zombies have been they've been docile for the most part. The doctor has been more or less using them as test subjects or assistants. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing with them. Either way. Antler.
So it's like, are you sure you're keeping a close enough eye on him?
Hmm?
Are you sure you're keeping a close enough eye on the doctor?
Hmm. As close as I'm comfortable with looking. If he were going to be perfectly honest, if he were going to try something either against me or anyone else, would have done it while we were in the mindscape.
True enough.
No, I'm not I am not I'm not very worried about the doctor, but how to deal with this? Perhaps a dispel magic may not be able to null the crystal, but perhaps it could disrupt its connection to the portal.
Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out.
Indeed. May wish to back away then, or get behind me.
Then he gives, a slight raise of the eyebrow. Takes a step back, sort of props his chest, and you see the sort of shimmer around him as he casts mage armor.
Cool. Yeah, and Antler's gonna prepare dispel magic, and then if anything happens, he'll have shield at the ready as a reaction. Let's see. I feel like I should roll something for this. Maybe Arcana. I know dispel magic itself is is instantaneous, but as like a contesting check against this thing, right. I should roll an Arcana and hope I do okay. 21.
Nice.
That doesn't do. Okay, so Antler basically raises his staff and then raises another hand, and then you see his own electrical blue magic gather both in his palm and the staff as he pulls back and then pushes both forward, and the magic arcs into the crystal for a moment, and you see the blue magic kind of wrestle with the blue electrical magic wrestle with the red electrical magic, and it's quite a display. I like to think it's a cool magical display moment.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you see the blue magic tendril out from it and cut the connections, the arcs from the portal above, and eventually spore. And by the time the blue electricity dispels, the crystal is just sparking a little bit on its own, but nothing arcing up now into the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is where we make a dex save.
Yeah, probably.
Which is just a straight D20.
Yeah. All right, you got the 9, I got the 15.
Yep. So what happens? This is definitely one of those where the space around you starts to shake and the walls kind of crumble a little bit, because this is a part of the castle that wasn't touched and is still very old. And arguably probably shouldn't have done this, but anyways, as the portal starts to just deform and start to shrink in some places, and just before suddenly just shoop, all collapsing in on itself for a moment, and then poof, bursting outward in like a magical force wave, which Zan, you managed to keep yourself on your feet. I think it pushes against your mage armor for a second. It sort of blows over you
Hmm.
in a red cloud of magic. Unfortunately, Antler got a 9 and
Hmm.
absolutely got flung back into the wall. Which I'm just gonna kind of like D5, D6, D8.
Think a D6.
Let's do D6. That's 5 damage. Boop. Uh, yeah, the the magical remnants of the portal disperses, and all you are left now is a open hole in the ceiling, and and the sound of whatever the probably the sound of the dock making some uh, uh very loud exclamations from
A
his
lot of
lab.
Grolix from up there.
Lot of Grolix. There's a lot of Grolix happening, and a lot of zombie pigment squeals. Uh, but yeah,
I think as like the sort of dust is starting to settle in, and is at first looking up at the portal, but then realizes Antler got knocked back and is rushing over to check on him.
yeah. Antler's kind of sitting there for a moment, a bit dazed, and just hand on his back, just ow, that hurt.
Oh, you all right? Can you stand?
Yep. One moment. Crick. Ah. Hold on. No. Hold on. Crick. Ah. Hold on. Hold on. Crick. All right. I'm fine. I'm fine. He says as he is absolutely using his staff to try and get back on his feet after having to straighten, like, you heard very loud pops in his spine as he was straightening his back.
Right. Zan is like trying to help him up a bit.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Uh, well, that.
Well,
Hmm,
it certainly had an effect.
certainly. I'm going to have to explain to the doctor about how he's going to have to be more careful with his assistants from now on, as he now has a limited supply.
I'm sure he can find a way to get plenty out of them.
Hmm, I'm sure. Well, that
I think
was.
there's one more thing that I think I can help with here.
By all means.
And carefully, Zan will get closer to the the crystal that is now not quite as volatile.
Yeah, you just see like a few like bits of energy arcing off it, but not nearly to the extent that it was when the portal was open.
Um, and as he gets closer, there's sort of the effect of some of his hair starting to frizz out and stand on end.
Oh yeah.
Um, and he finally manages to get close enough. Um, and there's this sort of weird effect where it almost seems like the color from around the rest of the chamber seems to be like leaking in and globbing onto this crystal in a way, and it's like it's a stifling sensation as he puts his hands on the crystal, and like there's the crackle of red energy that does not like being touched, um before he staggers a step back, and the crystal, you were just talking about how, like, oh, tune energy, you can tell difference between something that is animated versus the background, and has made it look as if this crystal is part
Oh,
of the background.
oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Can I also? Is Zan's hair still standing up?
Yeah, it's not as frizzy as it was like when he was right next to it, but there's definitely a very frazzled and
I think Antler
uh
was watching.
fee look to it.
Yeah, I think Antler at first was watching the display of the crystal being changed, uh,
Hmm.
and a bit of yes, that actually works rather. And he immediately just like covers his mouth when he looks at Zan.
And then just like, well, that should protect it from any outside detect. Are you all right? Did you? Oh goodness, you hit yourself on something again, or?
And there just has a hand covering his mouth and just points at at your head.
Mm.
No, no. I would say it's not a bad look for you, Mister Adieu.
And he sort of rolls his eyes and like, let's see how it is. Fine. Then it like rummages through his pockets to find a bit of like string to tie his hair back again. It's the things that you get for dealing with high-powered magic. Oh, good job, Sam. Thank you for taking care of them now.
And actually, Antler will. Hold on, hold on. I can. uh, forgive me, forgive me. It was very, very impressive what you did, Miss Zan, but. Oh, forgive me, that did. That did actually quite tickle me for a moment, but.
Well, good that I can return the favor a little bit.
I think, I need to check a spell real quick. Would you say prestidigitation was enough to yeah,
Uh,
instantaneously clean or soil an object, which I guess hair kind of counts.
um, I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah, I don't think they're at the point where I want to say it'd be a soft point of be a soft of Antler helping Zan fix his hair, but I don't think they're at that point where he would physically do it just yet.
Yeah, they're not quite there
Yeah,
yet.
not quite there yet, but he can at least wave a hand, and Zan, the frizziness in your hair has definitely gone down just a little bit.
Yeah, less. He's carrying a little bit less static electricity.
Yeah, yeah.
As he's trying to pull it back into a reasonable, fluffy ponytail.
Antler actually, his ears have uh. Antler's actually quite amused. He's still kind of amused by all that, and uh, eventually, with a sigh, will look between Zan and the crystal, then back towards the way they had come, and then up towards the big hole in the ceiling. Well, I can. Well, we could either go back the way we came, or we can go up that way. Do you have a flying spell?
I'm afraid I didn't prepare one today.
Antler will nod, and maybe slightly awkwardly, you'll see his eyes glow blue for a second before you see magical blue electric wings unfold from under his cape, and he just kind of silently holds out a hand in a silent offer.
Um, and he looks at the display. You can like he's not hiding it. He's impressed by that vibe. It is cool. Um, and he nods and takes Antler's hand.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those where Antler will start to fly up in the air, and he'll take Zan's other hand, so he's holding both Zan's hands to pick him up as he flies up to back upward and into the doctor's lab, where the doctor is no doubt yelling, still yelling.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's probably
And
a lot of Grolix, a lot of explaining.
it like as they come out to whatever alarm is happening, and Zane just like sort of smiles at Antler's like, I'll let you take care of this one.
Oh, thank you, so kind. Antler kind of rolls his eyes a little bit.
um but I imagine after they've somehow managed to get out of the lab and away from the doctor's
I think Antler would have managed to appease the doctor by saying, "Yes, you may run scans on it, but you are to treat it with the utmost care as possible and not mess up the magic that Zan had put upon it.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact, it might just be better if you just put a new floor in above it. Maybe don't.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe Doc. Maybe just forget it was there. It probably doesn't appease the Doc that much, actually. Now that I think about it.
I know you just got to see something really cool and mysterious, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it for now. We're all supposed to be on a vacation anyway, so you can worry about it later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to tell Breaks about the magical crystal in the basement.
um, and as they go on a bit, and Zen finally he smiles at Antler again and goes, "Well, I do hope that it wasn't too boring."
No, if anything, I would say it was rather entertaining, and he says that while glancing up at Zan's hair.
I did what I could. Once again, you may recall, I have saved your day.
Hmm. Indeed you have, and I am very much grateful for that, Mr. Adieu. Zan, thank you.
And like he caught that. He's like, well, he doesn't want to call you by your name because it was not given under the most willful of circumstances. So
Hmm.
just nods. um, I will. I will leave you to whatever wild adventures you get up to next, Mr. Antler.
I think as he starts watching you go, that was a 23 insight. Uh,
Mm.
he's aware that Zan caught that bit with the name, and speaking of name, there was actually one more thing before you go. Uh,
Hmm?
You've been very kind not to bring it up, but obviously I must ask to be certain, but you you do know my real name, yes?
I know the name you used to have, yes.
And Antler just nods. All right. Well, thank you again, Zan. I will I will not forget the help that you have given me, and perhaps you will let me actually repay you for this in some way.
They just sort of like gives this weird sort of grin that's no, you got a pretty good insight, and you could just tell that he's just like, what? He goes, what else are friends for?
Antler blinks at that. Just has a thoughtful expression. Hmm. I'm going to have to get used to that, aren't I?
Yes. Yes, I think you are.
Hmm. Well, I suppose it's not the worst thing in the world. And he actually shoots something of a wry grin back at Zan.
Well, since I am your first experience with it, more or less.
No, I'm afraid Mr. Lightly beat you to it.
And he like actually laughs. He goes, "Of course he did." Well,
Though to be honest, though to be honest, I am not sure he noticed he said it, and I'm not sure I want to ask.
I told you, that's the sort of person he is. You will, I'm afraid, have to get used to a great many things.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, I think you might even enjoy it.
Oh no. Oh
I'm
no.
sorry.
Enjoyment. Oh no, how
It
terrible.
goes
Oh.
very much against your aesthetic, but
Oh, it goes against everything. How could you say this?
I believe in you, Mr.
Oh
Antler.
no.
You will find the strength to carry on
Oh no,
despite
stop.
this grievous situation.
No, stop. It's terrible, awful. I am in fact dying again.
And he's just like laughing. It's like, oh, you big dork.
Antler just has the very slightest of grins while his ears are just wiggling a little bit in amusement. Alright, alright. Now I'm going, because otherwise we will be here an hour like last time, and I do not need someone walking up and seeing two old men talk about who knows what.
There will be further opportunities.
Hmm.
Until then,
Until then, good day, Miss Zan.
good day, Antler.
And I think that is where they part ways. But Antler definitely has a moment of looking back again at Zan before going his way. Does Zan look back at Antler?
this time, I don't think he looks back, but he is just. He's smiling to himself.
Aw, that's good. Well, I think that is. God, we almost went 2 hours. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
We almost
Thank
went two.
you. Thank you, everybody, for listening
Thank you.
to us nerding out over these old gay men.
God, they're so
They're
good.
in love yet, but god damn it.
We
God
got
damn
the.
it.
We hit the friend zone.
We hit the friend zone.
We got there.
We're doing it. They held hands.
Never has one been so happy as we are to get these men in the friend zone.
Oh god.
But yeah,
Thank you so much, Fable, for playing with me, and it's good. It's very good.
it's very good. Thank you for playing with me, and thank you, listeners, for listening and enjoying this with us. And we hope to see you next time. Uh, until then, bye bye.
Until then, bye.